Today we have the HET down meeting a number of the families to do with the Kingsmill massacre. It's a sad meeting. We have quite a few of the families here, and basically the HET is given the facts of what happened that night. And so you know what the facts are, folks. And sitting watching the tears coming out of them people's eyes is very hard to take. But basically they were stopped. They were taken out of the minibus and told to face the minibus with their hands in the air. They then identified the Catholic man that was in it, and indeed the Protestants thought that they were going to shoot him. They actually tried to protect him. Little did they know that it was them that was going to be shot. Now, they then cut them down like animals, and whenever they had done that, they walked around and shot them in the head to make sure they were dead. And the individual who was given the orders actually told them to do that. We now know that at least one of them was identified but never arrested, and indeed some of them were involved in the Oma bomb. That leaves serious questions to be asked. That gang went on to murder well over 100 people, and not one of these individuals was ever arrested and questioned about what took place. Now, I'd like to thank the HET for being blunt with the families today, because the families already knew this, but they were finally told it. The other thing we were finally told as well, it wasn't organised in 24 hours. And indeed, it would take somebody very close to the people on that minibus to actually help set that up. It wasn't set up in retaliation for the Ravy murders. It had already been set up, and that now has been confirmed to us. The other question we're asking is, where was the security in that area on that night? Them people had a clear run from across the border and back over the border. The quick reaction force that was based in Bessbrook did not react. Why? Now, there's a lot of questions that we are looking at a lot of answers to, and we now know that there is an individual who made statements naming the people involved in a lot of murders in that area, and also involved in the Kingsmills murders. Them statements have not been gone through. We now find out that there's also another individual who also made statements about what went on in the likes of the Kingsmills and that period. Again, nothing was ever done about it. The fact is, in South Armagh, that there was 446 odd murders. 26 was murders carried out by loyalist paramilitaries, and some of them men were IRA men, some of them were innocent Catholics. The IRA killed 46 Roman Catholics in South Armagh. The rest of the people were murdered by the IRA. That's only the deaths we're talking about. We're not talking about the maiming of people. There's thousands of people were maimed in South Armagh, where booby traps, where bombs, with shootings where they weren't successful. Thousands. That's what we lived with. But I want to go over this again so people are quite clear. They took the men out of the minibus and they lined them up and they slaughtered them. That is the fact. And not one of them has ever been arrested and questioned, never mind charged, for that atrocity. We can tie them people in at the minute to well over 100 mothers, and we believe before we're finished you're heading up towards the 200. And that's not myth or a made up story like the Glenanne story, because the Glenanne gang that they talk about didn't exist to the extent that it's been blown out of all proportion. But what did exist was the slaughtering going on by the Republicans, the ethnic cleansing of the Protestant community in South Armagh, and you can't get away from that. You can't get away from it. And we're going to make sure that history is written and that is recorded.